Hey, Mr. Sasso here, your HSPT coach, and today we are going to look at Lesson 14, Sales Tax from the Math and English Fundamentals for the HSPT workbook. So let's get started here. So to compute sales tax, 1, change the sales tax rate percent to a decimal, and 2, multiply by the cost of the item. That's it, pretty simple. Let's look at example 1 here. If the sales tax rate is 7%, how much sales tax would you pay for a big screen television that costs $900? So the first step, change the tax rate percent to a decimal. So 7% is equal to 0.07. And sometimes what I like to do is I'll take my pencil, I'll put in a decimal and then move it 2 places to the left. And then we just drop that decimal. So sometimes people make mistakes there. Avoid that. And then we multiply it by the cost of the item. So $900 times 0.07 would look like this. 7 times 0, 0. 7 times 0, 0. 7 times 9, 63. And then when I'm multiplying decimals, I like to take my pencil, count up the decimal places, and then in our answer, we go from right to left the same number of places. So that's how we get the $63 there. So pretty simple concept. Let's do one more example here together. Example 2, a t-shirt costs $25 with a sales tax rate of 8%. What is the total selling price of the shirt, including the tax? So here we actually are finding the total selling price, including the tax. So we're going to solve for the tax, and then we're going to add that back to the cost of the item. So first, change the tax rate percent to a decimal. 8%, 0.08. So I would do this, 0.08. There we go. Then multiply by the cost of the item. So $25 times 0.08. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. 8 times 2 is 16. Plus 4 is 20. And then count up the decimals. 1, 2. Move that over in our answer from right to left. So we get $2. Now, here the question is asking for the total selling price. So what we need to do is just add those $2 to the cost of the t-shirt, which was $25, and we get 25 plus 2 or 27. Okay, let's have a look at some example problems like you may find on the math test of the HSPT. So here are our directions. Solve the following problems, show all work. Okay, number 1, the sales tax rate in Hawaii is 5%. If a tourist buys a Hawaiian shirt for $42, what will the sales tax be? So first step, change 5% to a decimal. I'm going to add my decimal in there, move it over 2 places. I just like to show this, helps minimize any mistakes. So 5%, 0.05, and then we're going to do $42 times 0.05. 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. Count up our decimal places. 2 places, move it over from right to left in our answer, and we get $2.10. That will be the sales tax. All right. Number 2, a coat is selling for $120 with a sales tax rate of 8%. What is the price of the coat, including the sales tax? So here we're looking for the total cost, including the tax. So let's solve for the tax first. We have 8%, which is 0.08. See how I did that there? 120 times 0.08. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Now, sometimes I see people multiplying out the 0 here. You don't need to do that. You can stop right here. You're done. That's our number. Count up your decimal places, 1, 2. And move that from right to left in your answer. So $9.60 is going to be the sales tax. Now we want the total selling price, right? What is the price of the coat, including the sales tax? So that's just going to be $120 plus $9.60. So we get $129.60 is going to be our answer for this one. Let me box these here as we go along. All right. Number 3, a smoothie costs $3. If the sales tax rate is 9%, how much sales tax will you pay for the smoothie? So here we're just, again, solving for sales tax. So the sales tax rate is 9%. That's going to be 0.09. 9%, 0.09. And now we have $3 times 0.09. You can do 0.09 times 3 as well. That would be the same thing. 9 times 3 is 27. And that's it. We're done. Again, you don't have to multiply out that 0. 1, 2, 1, 2. So here we get 27 cents is going to be our answer. 27 cents is going to be the tax. Again, you might have set it up 0.09 times 3. 3 times 9, 27. Same thing, right? Count up those decimals. So either way, 27 cents for that one. All right. Number 4, if a cell phone costs $400 and the sales tax rate is 8.25%. All right. How much sales tax will you pay for the cell phone? So 8.25%. We need to change that to a decimal. Move the decimal over 2 places to the left, add a 0, drop the percentage sign. So 8.25% is 0.0825. Let's write this out a little more clearly here. And then if a cell phone costs $400, okay, little trick here. The way you set your multiplication up, so 0.0825, we're going to put the 400 second here. And when you have a number with a single digit and zeros after it, you can put that second and then use the zeros as placeholders to make the multiplication a lot easier. Remember, on the test, you have to do all this by hand. That's part of the challenge of the HSPT math test. These are little tricks to help you. So 0, 0, we put in those 2 zeros as placeholders, and then we're just going to multiply out the 4 and then move our decimal and we're done. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10, carry the 1. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 1 is 33. And again, you don't have to worry about that last 0, not going to make any difference. So now we count up our decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we move it over 4 places in our answer, starting right and going left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can drop those extra zeros. So we get $33 flat, $33 even. All right. And if we kind of think about it, that makes logical sense. 10% of 400 would be 40, right? So we're a little bit less than that, 8.25%. So that checks out logically as well. All right, last one here, number 5. A sofa costs $300. If the sales tax rate is 4%, what is the total cost of the sofa, including tax? So here again, we're looking at the total cost, right? We go into the store, we buy this $300 sofa, we end up paying a little bit more than $300 because of the sales tax. So let's calculate it. So sales tax rate is 4%. Not too bad, pretty low sales tax rate there. So that's going to be 0.04. Again, if you need to just do that every time to make sure you don't make mistakes, that's fine. And then here, I'm going to put 300 on the top just because we have, one number here to multiply out in the 0.04. We just multiply out the 4, then we're done and move the decimal. Okay, 4 times 0, 0, 4 times 0, 0, 4 times 3 is 12. Count up our decimal places, 1, 2, and move that over 1, 2 in our answer there. So we get $12. And of course, we are going to add those $12 to the $300. And so we end up paying $312 for the couch, including the tax. All right, great work. I will see you in lesson 15, the next lesson.